Wall Street Memes Casino,
I'm fine.
and Sportsbook.
This is KUGAN CASSIUS for IFLTV. We are in sunny Riyadh, Saudi Arabia. Delighted to be joined by Mr. Roman Fury. How are you, mate?
I'm fantastic. You know, I always love coming over here. It's my third time in the space for years, so I'm pretty much a resident. But it's nice to be doing the experience of fighting rather than supporting. So it's an all-new experience for me, but I love it. And what I can say is we always get treated with the best of you can be treated. You know, so over the moon.
Yeah, I think the background here doesn't quite do it justice of what we can see. Palm trees, the sun. It's your own little space here. It's beautiful.
Paradise, and I've never been used to anything like it before. I'm the centre of attention for a change, so it's all good.
This will be your fourth professional fight coming up this Friday night. Everyone's got to keep remembering it is a Friday night. But yeah, what do you know about your opponent you will face this week?
Yeah, he's a game young opponent. He's got an undefeated record, 2-0, so he's coming to win. He's not just a pushover, which is what I'm looking for. It's a good learning fight. So it'll be an eagerly anticipated one, won't it? Just to see, what it's like when the pressure's really put on me. But I've been training hard with my father back in England, so I've done everything I can, and I'm just going to let it be what it's going to be. I'm just enjoying my time over and do the best I can do.
You've been pro, 2 years now, or just nearly 2 years. I'm assuming you would have liked to have been a little bit more active in that two-year period at kind of that early stage of your career.
Yeah, 100%. I've only had 3 fights in the 2 years, so I need to be more active. That's one thing. I've set me stall out this year, but things happen in boxing, and I've had a couple of fights cancelled. But we're here now, and I've got another fight on the 12th, I believe, 12th of April. So yeah, just keep busy. I want at least 5 fights this year.
What's been the main reason that's kind of maybe stopped that from those 3 fights being, 5 or 6 fights?
Just opponents pulling out, not being able to get the right opponents because, you need to be managed right, and I've only just started, just things like that, but it all happens for a reason. I've not waited that time. I've been in the gym, been training, so yeah, just get more active this year.
As a professional, we've seen obviously little bits of you, but we've seen nowhere near kind of what possibly you're capable of producing in that ring.
No, and that's what I'm going to do this year, get out, get my name out there, get people knowing who I am, because there's still a lot of people who don't have a clue who I am. There's a lot of people acting surprised, seeing Fury in the bill, and it's turned out to be me. So, that's one thing I want to do is get people knowing Roman Fury. So, in order to do that, I need to be more active and start making some noise, don't I? And that's what my intention.
I think obviously when you first started pro, obviously using your family name to kind of get yourself out there initially, but yeah, as you kind of progress further, then you want people to refer to you as not just Tyson's brother or John's boy, just as Roman Fury in your own right.
Yeah, it's hard to come out of people's shadow because he's got such a big name, but I can only do my best, and as you can see, I'm trying. I'm not on Tyson shows all the time or anything like that. I've got this off my own accord. Big thanks to my father as well for getting me on. But that's all I can do, try and make my own name, and it's a time thing, isn't it? Because you're going to be living in someone's shadow for a long time until you prove yourself. But I'm at the start of my career, and that'll go as I go on, I'm sure.
What sort of advice does your dad give you kind of on a fight week? Does he leave you alone? Is he in your ear hole? How is he during a fight week?
No, he's actually the most chilled he's been in the last full camp, which is very surprised. But he knows that you've got to stay calm. You can't let the occasion get to you, because it's a big occasion for me, so all I've got to do is keep calm, keep active. I've been for a run this morning, and just enjoy it, because that's what we're all here to do. If you're not enjoying your job, you're in the wrong job, aren't you? And that's what I'm doing.
Yeah, I mean, you talk about occasion. This is some kind of occasion to have any fight alone. Your 4th professional fight, and yes, listen, as good as it is at home, this kind of stage and this many eyes on this Friday night, then what more could you want?
I know it's what every boxer dreams of, and in just 4 fights to be on this stage, I'm very, very lucky, and I understand that. But I'm going to use it to my full potential and get another devastating knockout again on Friday. I'm confident.
You sound very confident. You're talking a lot more than I remember the first interview we ever done. I suppose practice makes perfect, and now you're kind of in your own with that as well.
It's like anything, practice makes perfect. I'm a very awkward man by nature, and people say that, but practice makes perfect. I'm getting more comfortable in front of the camera and more free-flowing, so it's all good, isn't it?
It was that interview we did, do you remember? It never actually went out. Tyson's boy was hovering round in the back and distracting you at whatever age he was then. I think that was about 3 or 4 years ago.
Yeah, that was my first ever time in front of a camera, and he was doing all his hand signals behind my back, and it's awkward enough, it's hard enough, innit, without him doing that rubbish, but yeah, thank God it never aired. You should probably put it out, it'd be pretty funny, wouldn't it?
Do you know what? I promise you, that interview, I've always kept that interview because I thought it was funny, but it was never released because it was just, there was a distraction of a Fury Jr. there. What's your thoughts? Sorry. What's your thoughts on, obviously, the main event, Anthony Joshua taking on Francis Ngannou, who people now know in boxing. Obviously, he was... everyone knew him in the UFC, but obviously since his fight with Tyson, more so has become that kind of crossover star into boxing now. What's your thoughts? Is it a dangerous fight for Joshua, in your opinion?
100%. Ngannou's coming off a great performance against Tyson, and he's put himself right in the top 10, hasn't he now? One of the best in the world. And I think if AJ doesn't stick to his boxing and tries to trade with him, I think it could be a sticky night. And if if Ngannou's pressure gets to Joshua, you know, he could fatigue and he could be in for a tough night, but I expect Joshua to go out there and put on a good boxing show, stick to his boxing, and just outclass Ngannou. He's been doing it all of his life, and Ngannou's just crossed over, but I think it's going to be a good fight for the fans, 100%.
It's difficult to still engage exactly how Ngannou will be. Obviously, his first fight was against Tyson, which is never heard of, to have kind of your first fight in boxing against the lineal heavyweight champion. But so we're only kind of gauging how he performed in that fight. He did better than what everyone expected in that fight, but as they say, styles make fights, and this is going to be a completely different kind of situation. For Joshua as well, we can't really look at that Tyson fight either.
No, and I'm not taking nothing away from Ngannou. He did remarkably well with a ton of pressure on for his first ever boxing fight, but Tyson wasn't at his best. Everyone could see it, in my opinion. You know, it was probably the worst Tyson we've seen in a good few years. And, you know, it all plays a part. It's got Ngannou this massive fight with Joshua, but like you said, styles make fights, and I think these two styles make for a cracking fight, because, you know, Joshua likes to throw his combos and it looks like he's getting his confidence back, and that'll be playing right into Ngannou's hands, won't it? So I just see it being a good fight, and I can't wait to watch it.
The biggest talking point of that fight was the shock of seeing Tyson dropped in that fight. And do you see a situation where we could see this with Ngannou kind of possibly even early on, I don't know, knocking Joshua down? I mean, there's so many different scenarios everyone kind of plays out in their head.
That's why it's so exciting, this heavyweight bout. And don't get me wrong, if he lands on Joshua, he's going to go over, you know, because you see it on the punch machine, haven't you, the other day? The man hits harder than anything I've ever seen before. He's a total genetic freak. So he's got his work cut out for him, but I think if I was Joshua, stick to your boxing, outclass him, and just do it like that. But I can, you know, these heavyweight fights, there's a lot on the line. I can see it being an absolute tear-up, which is what we all want, isn't it?
Absolutely. I noticed something about that $10,000 challenge that Ngannou put out the other day. He said that if anyone could beat his score, which was 999, that he would give 10,000 to. Now, if the score only goes up to 999, he's a clever man for doing it, because you're not technically going to beat him even if you do it harder than him.
Not at all. No one's winning that 10 grand, are they? So very clever marketing from his point of view. But yeah, you can't beat 999, can you?
Obviously, your brother's fight is going to quickly approach after this week. It'll be just over a couple of months out. Obviously, disappointment of not having it in February, but yeah, that Cuttle Hill will eventually get to see the fight that we all want to see, him and Alexander Usyk. Yeah,
you know, I think time frame could be a little bit of an issue, but it is what it is. That's the new date, and as a professional, he's got to deal with it. But I've seen a video this morning, actually, he's put out. He looks sharp, he looks in good shape, and that's just all Tyson needs to be, in my opinion. He's got the knowledge, he's got the experience, he's got the skills. He just needs to put in the work and be in that good shape. And from what I've seen this morning, that's what it is, and it's bad news for Usyk, innit?
It was that kind of period over that time where we learnt the Tyson's cut, but then the date was put on the day after, when they did the Zoom call to announce that the fight would take place on May the 18th. But obviously for 24 hours, Tyson's got a lot of stick, where people were kind of, oh God, this, that and the other. The ridiculous suggestion of him having cut himself, all this ridiculous nonsense that come out. But they addressed it, and then that was that, wasn't it? It's on. It's a little bit of a delay, but these things happen in boxing.
Yeah, 100%. You know, all this rubbish about cutting yourself. I don't know any boxer that would do that, you know. We're all getting in the ring. We're not afraid. And he's definitely one that doesn't shy away from a big event. So it was all just rubbish, trying to stir the pot. But it's on now. And we've heard Turkey say, if anyone pulls out, what's that, like millions to the other guy?
10 million.
No one's pulling out.
It was 10 million, wasn't it? Yeah, 10 million.
I don't care how much money you got. Nobody's pulling out of that one. And if he pulls out, I'll step in.
You've heard it here first. All right, well, listen, wish you the best of luck on Friday. It's only Monday today, so, yeah, have you got anything else you'd like to say, Roman, before we finish?
I just want to say thanks to everyone supporting me. It's going to be another good performance, and thanks to all my sponsors as well. It means a lot. It's made sure I can just focus on training, and I appreciate it. So thank you, everybody, and God bless.
Roman Fury, thank you very much for talking to IFLTV, and yeah, we'll catch up with you again at some point this week. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Wall Street Memes Casino
I'm fine.
and Sportsbook.